Academy Flat Rock, and I am joined by my co-host Lyndon, who's decided to be right behind me in the video. So it truly is a family affair here tonight. I'm also joined by Lauren Ollier and Matt Patuco from Distinctive Schools, who are here just supporting and also here to answer questions and provide more information. Throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. Please drop them in the chat because then we can make sure that we get to all of your questions. So if you have any questions during the presentation, go ahead and just type them in the chat box and we'll make sure to get to them. That way we can get to everybody's information. If you want to go to the next slide, please. Like I said, I'm Mrs. Call. I'm super excited to be starting my second year as principal at Summit Academy Flat Rock. I've spent about 10 years in education, and I was formerly a teacher at Summit Flat Rock for 4th and 5th grade. My favorite children's book is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I love spending time at the pool or beach with my son. He's outside in the pool right now, so he's having fun. And what I love most about Summit Flat Rock, and we hear this from current families a lot, is our family feel. It's a really tight-knit community. We run about 250 students in pre-K through 8th grade, and so it's definitely that tight-knit, close, welcoming community where you can really feel plugged in and like you are not just a number, but you are a face and a name and like family to all of us. So we're super excited to share a little bit more about our school and our partnership with Distinctive Schools tonight. We want to start out talking a little bit about our core values and what drives our work. So this is really our why and why we do everything we do and what drives all of our work and all of our decision making. I do want to just really quickly before we, keep going, acknowledge and honor the fact that what fall will look like is top of everybody's mind right now. And I know as a parent myself, just trying to make those decisions and be informed about what's going on in the fall is definitely top of mind. And we will get to some more information about that later in the presentation. But I think it's really important that we start out with our core values because they really inform how these decisions are made. So at Distinctive Schools is our managing partner here at Summit Academy Flat Rock. We have 4 schools in the Metro Detroit region, along with a cohort of schools in Chicago. And really our focus, our vision is to innovate, trailblaze, and collaboratively lead a public education transformation that positively impacts the greater education community and ensures that each Distinctive School student thrives in college, career, and life. And so as we have designed our model and as we've thought about what our COVID life model might look like, that's really what's top of mind is how can we ensure that each of our students are able to thrive in college, career, and life, and how can we set ourselves up for success so we are not just responding to current events, but we're actually trailblazing and leading the work on a national level. So we're super excited to be part of that work together here at Summit Academy. A couple of things that make our model unique, and some of these, if you're returning families, I see some of our returning families and teachers in here as well. Some of these things will be new spins on things that we have been doing for a long time at Summit Academy, but will be increased in focus. One of the things that really makes us unique is our personalized learning model. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach to education, we really want to be focused on designing learning experiences that are right for each student as an individual. Part of what this includes is really innovative learner profiles where we get to know your student by talking to you, get to know your student academically, socially, as a whole person, as we just design a great learning experience for them that is the right content at the right time in the right place. this is going to be especially crucial right now. We know that with school letting out in March and going to virtual and everyone navigating the pandemic, we know that some of our students may have fallen behind academically during that time and everything going on. And that's where this personalized learning model is going to be super important. It's not our goal to spend months and months doing review at the beginning of the year. It's our goal to know exactly where every single student is as an individual and meet them where they're at to get them where they need to be. And we are at Distinctive Schools, national leaders in the personalized learning journey, and are really interested in how that work that we've been doing for many years will now inform our COVID response. Along with that, being an organization of innovators and trailblazers, really wanting to collaborate with family, teachers, and outside partners. We know that no matter what the fall ends up looking like and whatever happens with the virus, we have to be especially connected and making sure that we are working all together as a team for our kids in a way that helps them succeed in college, career, and life. A couple of other things that make us unique. I talked a little bit about learner profiles earlier. Those are developed with families and students and highlight their strengths and needs, motivations, information, feedback, and goals. Some of the ways that this can show up in our curriculum is how final products look. So for example, if your student is really interested in filmmaking, maybe their final product on one of their project-based assignments would be a film that they can share. If they're really interested in the arts or science and technology, they can integrate those different interests into other content areas. And so that's some of the way that we strive to use learner profiles to really meet students where they're at. The other thing is flexible environments, which is definitely an advantage right now when we are in a flexible space with the pandemic. So being creative in our grouping and connections, how we can staff and be flexible with the individuals in the building, what space we utilize, and how we deliver learning and what time and scheduling that we use. And so those are always core pieces of our model. And now that we're looking at, contingency planning and things, they really align themselves well, and we feel that we're in a really good space to provide a high quality learning experience for every child in the fall, regardless of where and when that occurs. So along with our personalized learning paths, student leadership or student ownership of their learning is one of our goals, ongoing assessment and individual assessment and competency-based progression. So families who've been with us for a while know that we've been asking for your feedback around grading practices and really how can we work together to understand where our kids are at and where they need to grow. And so we've really heard you loud and clear and want to focus more on individual advancement and ongoing assessment. And when we use the word assessment, that doesn't necessarily mean tests or more tests. It means really, as educational practitioners, learning how to observe students, how to listen to students, and how to watch what students are doing to have a really robust view of what they know, understand, and can do. And for some kids, that's not always how they test. And so really wanting to make sure that we have an understanding of the whole child and are looking at all of their strengths as we seek to understand where they're at and where they need to go. We have really high quality curricular materials that we're planning to use in the fall that our board has committed to an investment in. So for our returning families, you will see some shifts in curriculum that I think are moving in a positive direction based on the feedback that we've been hearing from you for the past couple of years. We'll be using Engage New York for math, and we'll be using Benchmark Advance for reading in grades K through 5. And then in middle school, we'll be using the Summit Learning Platform. No connection to Summit Academy. They're just both Summit. And Summit Learning Platform is a project-based platform where all 4 content areas in middle school will be integrated in the same online platform. So you as parents will have a one-stop shop where you can go and see how your child is doing in every content area. At the same place at the same time, and get real-time feedback about what assignments they're completing, how they're doing on those assignments, and how you can help them at home. So we're super excited about that. We've heard you loud and clear, our middle school families, that information and feedback is something that you've wanted more of. And so we're really excited about how this new platform is going to help leverage that and really help you understand better where your child's at and how you can support them at home. For social emotional learning, our PBIS system is, the acronym is PRIDE, or acrostic is PRIDE, which stands for problem solving, responsibility, integrity, drive, and empathy. These are things that we really want to build into all of our students and really focus on educating students as the whole child and as well-rounded individuals who are truly ready for college and career and life, with their habits of success, and they're able to tackle whatever life throws at them. We understand that the kids we're educating now, we are educating for futures that are unknown. We're getting them ready for careers that might not even exist yet. And so these really core competencies of problem solving and responsibility, integrity, drive, and empathy are really what help them to be successful people and humans. And that's a really big goal of ours. We also understand that right now, a lot of kids have been kind of thrown off of their schedule. They've had a lot of disruption in routine. They've been experiencing just a lot, as we have as adults, due to the pandemic. And so we really want to focus on this social and emotional learning and really helping to support them from that aspect. And we have plans built out to have dedicated social emotional learning time in each class day, just to make sure that we are really supporting kids during this time and helping them be ready to focus on learning and be successful in academics and in life. All right. After school programs. We are really revamping our after school programs. We've heard loud and clear from parents after our last 2 years of piloting after school clubs that this is something that parents and families love and are interested in seeing more options. We're also looking at different community partnerships and different models so that we can be able to engage more community partners in offering more programs and choices for children, looking into things like sports and really increasing our offerings. Also looking at models where we can be able to compensate teachers for their time in leading after school programs and clubs. And so we're excited to be increasing these offerings. We know that this might look a little bit different depending on what our format is and what phase we're in with reopening with the state of Michigan, but we are committed to offering after school and extracurricular options in person or online, depending on where we're at with reopening. And so we're engaging some of our partners to see what kinds of online options we can also provide in the event that we're not able to offer them in person. We're also super lucky that one of our board members is involved with a national organization of after school grant providers and is really on the cutting edge of what cool things people are doing with after school across the US. And so we're really excited to leverage some of her knowledge and feedback and connections to offer a really robust after school programs and choices for each child. All right. This is probably the moment that many of you have tuned in for. What's happening in the fall? So our motto all along at Distinctive Schools and Summit Academy has been, this is not about getting ready, this is about staying ready. We are not looking to be in a position where we are having to react to things happening around us in the world. We are looking to be in a position where we have a robust plan that's ready to be implemented, regardless of what outside circumstances are. What that means is that we have plans built out regardless of the phase that we're in for reopening. However, we don't necessarily know which plan we'll be implementing until we know what phase we're in. So I'm going to give a little bit of a high-level overview of what we're hoping the model will look like and what's been approved by our board. And I just want to offer the caveat that we're listening and learning constantly to our local and federal leaders on what the different legislation is that's coming out, what the executive orders are, because those can change things, as you all remember, from March pretty quickly. And so we just want to stay ready so that we are ready kind of no matter what gets thrown our way. We also really want to norm around the idea that as a school community, our reopening plan is not something that's being done to any of us. It's not being done to teachers or done to families. It's something that we are all in together and we're all working through together. We don't, besides our personal choices and our personal, efforts to kind of stem the tide of the virus, we don't have a ton of control over what phase we're in. And so we just want to work together and really be united and on the same front as we work through this together. Just a really quick overview. I know we've been sending out updates, which oftentimes have been somewhat vague. And I think that this timeline and overview might give you a little bit better idea of where we've been at in our planning. So we've been planning since really April and May so that we can stay ready regardless of what's happening. This has included teachers and leaders and experts from multiple states who've been meeting weekly or 3 times weekly, some people, to really stay ready and have robust plans built out. We did not receive our state guidelines on reopening until June 30th, and those have significantly informed the plans that we've made. I just want to highlight that any plans we've presented meet or exceed state guidelines. We received forms from CMU, who's our charter authorizer, on July 9th, and we presented our plan to the board on July 20th. So it was a pretty quick turnaround. And like I said, these plans really are based on the phases of reopening. We are continuing to monitor health data and recommendations and send out updates as they become available to us. Many of the health data and recommendations have changed from when we started our planning in April and May to where we are now. I think we thought we were going to be on a little bit more of an uptick than we're currently at. And so that's why we are super glad that we were ready with other kinds of plans. Right now, the plans that we have in place, we have 2 main plans. The first main option that we're focusing on is centered around family choice of in-person or virtual learning. As a public school academy, we really believe and want to honor parent choice and understanding that you know your child best and you know what your child needs best and what you're most comfortable with to be able to choose in-person or virtual learning. A selection survey will be going out, I believe, in the next 2 weeks, where you can kind of indicate, hey, it seems like our family is leaning towards in-person or our family is leaning toward virtual. We will have kind of timelines on that information so that we don't have kids coming in and out. You'd kind of select for a certain time frame, okay, for this quarter, I will be our family will be attending virtually, or for this quarter, our family will be attending in person. The other thing that we are planning for is a fully remote option based on network, state, or local determination due to the phase. So if you have read, it's 66 pages, so I hope you have not spent your summer reading the Michigan schools reopening plan, but we have. If we are in phase 1, 2, or 3 at any time during the school year, according to the Michigan reopening plan, we are not able to provide in-person learning. And in that case, we will be fully remote. If we're in phase 4 or above, we're able at this time to continue offering the family choice of in-person or virtual. So that's kind of an important distinction, is that we'll be offering the family choice unless data from the state or our local partners indicates that we're not able to offer that anymore at that time, based on the phase. So I know that's like a very super high level overview. The Michigan plan, like I said, all of our safety guidelines meet or exceed the Michigan recommendations. And so that's right now what the plans are in terms of personalized choices for families. Like I said just a little bit ago, a survey with more information will be coming out in the next week to 2 weeks, where you'll be able to indicate whether you plan on attending in person or virtually, and that will help us plan in terms of staffing and building capacity, because we're not truly able to plan our schedule and how the flow of the building will be until we know how many kids will be in the building. And so those family selections are going to be really important for us to make those kinds of determinations. So we're all in this together. We're in this as partners, and our number one goal is safety for students and families. And we are continuing to set them up for success in college, career, and life, regardless of what else is happening out there in the world. We are also really thankful for the feedback our current families have completed and staff on the surveys we've been sending out. That's highly informed the virtual and in-person options we've been planning. We feel fortunate that we had a little bit of a test run of virtual in the spring. So now we can have great feedback from families about what you'd like to see more of. You'd like to see more one-on-one time with teachers virtually, different kinds of check-ins, stability in platform, things like that. All of that feedback has heavily informed the plans that we're putting into place, so that we can be offering, the best product for your child and the best educational option for your child during this time, as always, is our goal. So I know that was a lot of information, but I know that that's a lot of what folks have had some questions around. So I wanted to spend a little bit of extra time on that. If you have not registered yet, you can register today to save your seat at summitacademyflatrock.org. If you are a returning family who has indicated an intent to return, then we have your registration. The reason that these registrations are so crucial is that as we're registering families for and getting their input about, do you want to be in person or do you want to be virtual, and making plans around that, you'll need to be registered in order to get those communications. And so if you're not registered, you won't be receiving those communications. And so if you have friends or family that are interested, or you have friends or family with incoming kindergartners who are interested, if you could really encourage them to register at summitacademyflatrock.org, that will help us be able to push out the information in a timely manner and make sure everyone has access to it, so we can continue to plan high quality programs. We also have our new social media pages. If you can share, follow us at Summit Flat Rock. That's our handle on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we are really trying to make those pages active and up to date with information, pictures, news, things that you can share out, especially if you have friends and family who are looking for a high quality option during this kind of time of unknowns. We'll be pushing updates out on those platforms as well. Like I said at the very beginning of the presentation, if you have any questions at this time, if you could just type them in the chat box, then we will be able to answer them. I will probably have Lauren and Matt shoot the question or say the questions out, and then we'll work as a team to answer them. I just want to offer the caveat that there are some questions that the answers might be, we don't know yet, or it depends on the phase. And so thank you for your patience in advance as we work through that.
The only question we've had so far was just about the various curriculum that we're going to be offering again this year. Specifically, math was asked about, but if you wanted to just share that again with everyone.
Yeah, so our curricular materials, we are using research-based materials that are guaranteed and viable, which means that they have been tested via research to make sure that they offer everything students need to be successful. Engage New York is the math curriculum that we will be using. It is aligned to our state standards and is used nationwide and is already being used with our other campuses. Some things that I think parents will like about it. There are some fluency exercises that closely mirror things that you might remember from when you were in school that are helpful. It has really robust word problems and real life applications of the math. And the other thing that I like is that in the curriculum and in the curricular resources that are available for us to share with parents, they have examples of how to work out the problems. So if there are some problems that are being worked out in a different way than how we may have learned it when we were in school to align with state standards, they have a lot of resources available that walk parents through step by step and show them this is how we're working it out, along with different platforms and videos. There are also resources on Khan Academy for all grade levels within Engage New York so that you can access videos at home also. So that's a little bit about the math. ELA for K-5 is called Benchmark Advance, and Benchmark Advance is a reading program. And one thing that's really cool about it is our past reading program, you know, we had these big books that had all the stories for the whole year that kids, you know, you couldn't write in the book, you couldn't highlight in the book, had to kind of keep them nice and pristine. The Benchmark Advance curriculum, they are almost like magazines. Like that's what the student books are like. So for each unit, the student gets a thematic magazine with pictures, and they have different annotation activities, and they can write in the books, and they have something physical, the text that they can interact with. So even if you're choosing the virtual option, we'll be able to have those hard copy materials for you. And there are a lot of supports built into the curriculum for students who need an extra challenge or students who need some extra support to help bring them up to grade level in their reading skills. And so we are super excited about both of those curricular options. The Summit Learning Platform is a project-based platform, and that's what we'll be using in middle school for all content areas. One thing that's really cool about this is that the rubrics that are used by teachers across all content areas are the same. So the rubric that your child would be used to be graded on a paper in history would be the same rubric for an English paper, would be the same rubric for a science paper. So it really helps them translate skills across content areas. And the other really cool thing is that it allows teachers to really get together and understand where kids are at in each of the individual classes so they can tailor their instruction to them more. The Summit Learning Platform is an online-based platform with in-person elements, which will be really helpful for our middle schoolers in the event that if they start out in person and then because of the phase they have to go out to virtual, it'll be the same platform. There won't be a change in their interface and experience. And the same for Engage New York and Benchmark Advance, we looked for really robust tools that have online elements so that we can kind of level set so kids and parents are used to the systems. So in the event that they start in person and have to go out to virtual because of the phase, it won't be such a big shift. We are also planning to continue to use the Seesaw and Google Classroom learning management systems. We had a lot of good feedback from parents about how we could make those experiences better, but we'll continue to use those to push out assignments. We did have kind of a question or a comment about wearing masks during in-person learning. That's one of the reasons that we have family choices available. So If you know or feel that your child at their age level wouldn't be comfortable or maybe behavior wise able to keep a mask on at school during the day, then that's one of the reasons that we wanted to provide a really robust virtual option so that you would have that available to you. We are following the what is called the strong recommendations in the Michigan reopening plan that do require masks for different age levels throughout the day. And we do want to make sure that we have a robust virtual option for students if that's something that parents, aren't comfortable with or just feel like they want to keep them home for now. So I just want to also kind of put that out there is that that's why we want to have these different options so that you truly, who know your child best, can make the decision that you feel is going to be best for them. Do we have any other questions, Lauren?
No, at this time we don't. But if anyone does, please feel free to just pop it on in the chat. We're happy to answer it for you all. We're excited to get things rolling in a big way with the school. So don't feel like you need to wait. Feel free to ask your questions now. But if for any reason you do want to send something or have time to speak with one of us later on, you can always reach us at the school. We do have in-person hours from 9 to 2. And you can either call to just make sure that someone is in there who'll be able to meet with you, or you could just give us a call, shoot an email, or if you reach out via any of our social media channels, which we do hope that you guys have taken a moment to follow, like, and share today, we will happily respond to any direct messages as well that are sent to us.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of follow up, Lauren, that a lot of this is still in flux, and we do have we have these solid plans built out. We will be sending information in the next week to 2 weeks. If you have any questions in the meantime, please reach out. One thing that we really want to make sure is that we have the best and most current information going out to families. And typically updates about our contingency planning go out on Friday evening or Saturday morning. And so that's kind of a cadence you can watch out for. And so definitely want to make sure that if you're not receiving emails from school and you are a registered family, that you reach out to me at jkull at summit or at distinctiveschools.org. I almost said my old email address. But if you reach out to me at that email address, we can make sure you are all set to receive emails. There was another question about if things do end up getting better at some point during the year, can they switch from remote learning to returning to the classroom? Those kinds of specifics are very dependent on what phase we're on. And so in the event that we were, to move phases, we will be providing that information to families. I think that we will probably have set time frames. So if you've committed to remote learning, you'll be committed for a certain time frame, but we want to make those long enough to offer consistency for students, but short enough that if the phases are changing, you have the opportunity to adjust based on what your family needs, and that way we can adjust staffing accordingly. The other thing is, we want to just watch out for legislation and executive orders as they come out, because that could change the cadence of some of those choices. But that's where we are at as of this moment, where we are in a phase 4 situation. So hopefully that answered the question. I will be at school this week between 9 and 2. You can feel free to give me a call at school if you would like some more, to have a more in-depth conversation about anything that we've talked about tonight. The number is 734-379-6810. It's the same number. It hasn't changed. So if it's in your phone, you're good. So feel free to give me a call up at school, and I'd love to have a one-on-one conversation with any families who, just have extra questions or more specific scenarios that they're wanting to have a conversation about. I'm available for those. All right. Thanks so much for joining. I especially want to thank a lot of our staff who I see on here Miss Borowski, Miss Sparks, Miss Kerr, Miss Hill, who took time out of their evening to join. They truly are the real superheroes in all of this and have done an amazing job with the developing the online learning, and are definitely part of what makes our program special and unique. And we're happy to have the majority of our staff returning with us next year. And so thanks so much for taking the time out. I think this really shows how our teachers are so dedicated and part of the community, that they take time out to attend things like this. So just want to say an extra thank you and shout out for that. So have a great night, everybody, and we'll look forward to connecting with you all soon.